I watched a video by Mr. Townsend on a recipe, century-old recipe for succotash, and I was really intrigued by it, but there were a couple of things he was missing in the video. He was missing a flintlock rifle. He was missing a 2015 bear tag. So he used pork. I'll be using bear meat. He used pork fat. I'll be using bear fat. And bone broth, which he also taught me how to make, and I'll probably link to that video too. This bone broth made out of bear. Anastasi beans, corn from the garden. So, make this quick and I'll get started. Okay, sorry about the noise. We've got bear fat starting to heat up in the pan. Got beans that have been soaking since yesterday. Changed out the water 3 or 4 times. Boy, that's noisy. Gonna try and make this a fairly short video. I thought Mr. Townsend's video was pretty informative on how to go about this, and so this is more of a video on taking the information I got from him, using the ingredients I have, and trying to duplicate his results. So here it goes. Alright. So our bear meat's browned. And for those of you who haven't eaten bear meat, the smell in here right now is such that I'm very tempted to shut off the video, add a little garlic and a little salt, and just eat this and say to heck with the video. But once started, best finished. So against my better judgment, and sadly, we cover the bear meat with 3 quarts of water. Give it a stir. Need to get that up to slow boil, and meanwhile I have corn to shuck. The corn I'm using, I usually use to make parched corn. So I'm using a harder, rounder corn. A lot of people call it a flint type of corn. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a little different row. If you look at them, there's a lot of spacing in between the rows. When it dries up, it's kind of stays round. It doesn't dent in. It's not nearly as sweet as a sweet corn, so not quite as good to eat off the ear, but still a really good corn to cook with. All right. Got a slow boil going here, as instructed. Just a preparation note. This is a dozen ears of corn. This is my beans. I don't have as much corn as I do beans by probably a third less, and that's a dozen ears. So I'm going to go out and pick 5 or 6 more ears of corn. But you need to gauge appropriately. Either that or I'm cutting way too thin. The directions were not to cut too deeply into the corn when you were taking it off the ears. And I may have taken those too seriously. But it's taken a lot of ears of corn to get this done. So beans are going in. Give that a stir. I'm going to go pick some corn. We'll let this come back up. And then we'll get the ears that I've already taken the corn off of into there to boil as well. Alright, we are back up to a boil. And I am guessing that I am not supposed to put 18 of these in there. So we're going to put in 5 or 6, I'm thinking. Try and pick the ones that I think I did the best job of not going too deep on, so that we don't impart any bad flavors in here. I think we're there, huh? Alright, we'll give that some time. And then comes corn. And I think we'll check the beans just to see how close the beans are to being beans. Yeah. Gonna burn myself here, I know. All for you. Yeah, they're close. They're probably 20 minutes away. So, gonna add our corn. Give that a stir. I think my bean to corn ratio is wrong. I think when I started with 1.5 cups of beans, I shouldn't have started with 1.5 cups of dry beans. But there's not much I can do about that now. Alright, for those of you who don't know what bone broth is, like I said, there should be a link at the bottom. You can hear mine's nice and dry. I'm going to send this in there. If you're wondering why my bowl looks like this is my cheat. I'm sure other people do it for working on the corn. You put one bowl upside down inside another bowl and then stand your corn cob on top of it. When you're cutting with your knife, you don't have to cut down into the bowl. It just makes it a little simpler. Anyway, everybody's in the pot except for the salt and pepper, and since the beans have a little ways to go yet, I don't like putting the salt in. So we're going to wait, give it another 20 minutes, take a look at it, see what we got. Salted black pepper. Okay, so the end result ended up with more black pepper, a little more salt, a little garlic powder, smoked paprika, and some chives cut up on top. Now it's pretty good. Before that, a little plain.